Hey everyone, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Adelina and I make videos about living in my tiny house on wheels and living a more intentional life. I just got back from Vancouver Island and I have to start unpacking the van, cleaning it up. I actually got in late last night. So, and I really have to get this done because it's freezing overnight now and I'm worried that some of the food and liquids that I have in here are going to freeze. I just didn't have the energy to do it last night, and I wanted to film for you guys a van tour of how I have been using the van. I took it out for almost 2 weeks. I've had it out a half a dozen times since I bought the van, in different stages of the build out. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that this is basically a no build out for now. I just wanted to get it usable, and I wanted to be able to take it out to Vancouver Island and BC in general to start thinking about some potential parking spots for the tiny house next year, next spring, next summer. So yeah, I'm going to take you inside. It's actually really cold out here. It frosted last night. It kind of rained and then it froze, and I actually couldn't get my slider door open this morning. It's dripping on me. Couldn't get my slider door open this morning when I tried to get the other doors open. So I've got the furnace on in here. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to take you guys inside and I'm going to give you a tour of how I've got it set up and how I've been using it. The first thing I'm going to do is show you the cab, because there's not much going on up here other than, you know, that I installed the swivel seat in the passenger side. Maybe I have to close this door a little bit, but okay, that's better. It's not the best lighting in here, but it is what it is. So I did install the swivel seat in the passenger side, and that has been amazing. I'm going to take my boots off and put on my camper slippers and show you how I've been using the swivel seat. In the mornings when I'm having my coffee and my breakfast, I'll often sit up here with this little desk, lap desk I guess it's called, on my lap, and put my feet up on the driver's side and just have my breakfast, work on my laptop, enjoy what's going on. And that has been really nice. I love the swivel seat. I'm really glad I put it in. I'm glad that I invested in a good one because this one works really well. Up here I have the shade for the front window. I keep the lap desk up here. I also keep my butane stove up here, not the fuel, but just the stove part. And then also my, these are little screens for the windows on the doors, and then the screens for the sliding door that I made from 2 regular size screens, and they just Velcro on. And one of these days I'll show you how I did that. So that's what goes up here pretty much. And this is a great little spot. It was already here. It was just really dirty, but it holds all that stuff. So basically the rest of the cab is pretty simple, obviously. In the passenger door here, I'm not sure if you can see it, I keep my broom and I keep my flip-flops for when I'm showering, because you do not want to wear, you always need flip-flops when you're showering in camper showers, and my umbrella, which is very important. And then on the driver's side, map of Canada, because you don't always have internet, as I learned as I was wandering around the island. And then that's pretty much it up front. Let's look at the back. One of the things that I put into the van was this little seat, I guess. It's actually a little bench meant for outdoors. I bought it at IKEA. It was very inexpensive. It's very lightweight. I've just got this rubber mat here to keep things from sliding. And then I found this pad that's meant for a patio chair or a lawn chair at the thrift store. So I bought that for a little extra cushioning. And that becomes my little settee. I have these 2 cute little cushions from the store that are kind of just give it a Canadian vibe. And here is where I sit sometimes. I gotta be honest, I haven't used this as much as I thought I would because I mostly sit on that swivel seat or on the bed when I'm watching videos on the laptop or reading. But I think if I had company, this would be really good. And I can sit here with that lap desk on my lap and work. So I'm gonna keep it. It's very lightweight. It's just attached to the wall of the van with some really strong bungee straps. So it doesn't go anywhere. And it's nice to have that little seating area or someplace you can sort of lounge. That's different. That's other than your bed, especially if you have company. I don't know that I want people sitting on my bed when I have company. So I'd rather sit up there and have guests sit on the swivel seat and on here. So I have been really enjoying this. Let me show you what's underneath it. Underneath here, I actually just have a bin that I keep random stuff in. I would keep extra blankets, sheets and towels in here. I have this little container that's got batteries and Velcro, glue, carabiners, things like that. A little sewing kit because you never know when you're going to need one. And this is where I'll keep my coats and things like that, the ones that I'm not wearing. Just stay in here. And this actually fits perfectly under this bench. And the lip of the bench keeps it from sliding out. So that's perfect. One of the things that has been working so well in this van in the times that I've had it out, especially in these last 2 weeks when I've been in here, you know, all day, sort of full-time-ish, is this kitchenette. Couldn't be happier with it. It's been brilliant. It's lightweight, so it doesn't add a lot of weight to the van. It has lots of counter space. I usually set up my butane stove here, and then there's the sink with the cutting board over top. It's worked so well for me, and I'm so glad that I bought it. Let me give you a little bit of a tour of what I've done with it. So I haven't really cleaned up anything yet, so it's still kind of a mess from my trip, but one of the things I love about this set from IKEA is that it comes with these little shelves that you can buy. So I've got my dish drying mat on this one, and if I'm just washing a bowl or a cup, I just tuck it on here and let it dry. If I'm doing a bigger load, obviously I pull it out and put it on the countertop. But awesome places for your cutlery, my dish soap, scissors, things like that. I usually keep over here my toothbrush, body wash, things like that. I have my washcloth and towel for when I go to the washroom here, and my oven mitt. They also come with these little, you can't really see that, these little paper towel racks, and I've got a little bungee across the back to keep that from unrolling while I'm driving. I've got a mirror here for when I'm brushing my teeth and such, and some of these Honest wipes, these plant-based wipes for days when I am camping where there isn't a washroom or anything like that. I use this just to wash my face, my pits, things like that. I really like that. I bought this, which has been really nice. It is a thermometer and a humidity sensor. Can you see that? And it's 10 degrees Celsius in here, which is what, 50 degrees Fahrenheit for you guys in the US. It's cold. I had my furnace on, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Anyways, that has been kind of a handy little thing to have. So down below, I'm going to show you what's going on down below. First, let me show you my water system. I have showed this in other videos, but I just want to show you how it's been working. So right behind the cooler is my freshwater jug. It's bungeed in, so it's not going to move. And it has a little hose that goes from it up to the tap. I did buy some food grade hose. The hose that came with that tap was plastic and bent already and kind of gross. So I bought food grade. I ordered that off the internet. I just made a little hole in the lid and put duct tape there to thread that through. In the bin right behind it, I keep an extra jug that I usually have filled with fresh water, and a tub for washing if I am doing like a big load of dishes. And I also keep my fire extinguisher in there, which is really important, and so it's really handy, easy to get to. Hopefully I never need it, This is bungeed in, this wedges in there, it stays pretty tight. So under the sink, I have the gray water. Again, this has been working so well. And it's just a jug, it's bungeed in here twice, and it's got some of this rubber mat to keep it from sliding around. There's a funnel, that's how the water comes through the drain and into there. And I empty this every day, and I'll empty it into either a pit toilet or a flushing toilet at a campground or the sewer dump in a campground. Normally I just walk it into the washroom and pour it down the toilet, because there never gets to be a whole lot in here. I don't let this fill up or anything like that. I don't like to drive with anything in here. And so when I get home, I take it inside, I give it a good wash, and then I rinse it out with white vinegar to keep it from smelling, and then let it dry really well. And I keep my hot water bottle in here because you always need a hot water bottle when you're camping. Below that, I have a bin that I keep very important snacks in, cookies, things like that, but also Ziploc bags, because I do use those when I'm camping, and extra sort of dried goods is what I keep in there. It fits really nicely underneath this shelf here, and it doesn't slide around. Beside that, I have the green compostable bags that I use in my garbage. Then I found this at IKEA, and this has been awesome. It's a little rolling rack. Oh, sorry, it's bungeed in. I normally just leave it slid in there and just lean over, but it can slide out. And this is where I keep my spices, my oil, vinegar, dried goods like cereals, things like that, canned goods, foil wrap, anything like that goes in here, and then it slides back, and this bungee goes through and attaches to this shelf, and that goes over top of this and this unit to keep things secure. And then when we're traveling, I also pull this across to keep it nice and secure. I found this little unit at IKEA, and I thought it was adorable. I was thinking about putting some on the walls, but I don't want to actually mount anything to the wall yet. So it's become my medicine cabinet sort of thing. Inside I've got my shampoo, Band-Aids, floss sticks, Advil if I need it, that sort of thing. It's magnets closed, it has not opened. This is just a little magnet on here, and it just stays there because there's a little bar under here that is just the right height, and there's a little dip down here, so this stays in there. It doesn't move. There's a little piece of rubber matting in there to make sure it doesn't move, but it doesn't go anywhere. So that's been really great. And then I have these drawer units that I bought from Walmart. Let me show you these, because this, awesome. Whew, it's cold in here. I'm glad to be home, but I'm not necessarily glad to be back, if that makes any sense at all. Anyways, in this drawer unit, the reason I love this drawer unit is because these latch. There's a little locking mechanism here that you lift up, and it keeps the drawer from opening, which has been really great when I travel. If I go over some really big bumps, this bottom one seems to open. That's why I put the bungee across, but in general they don't. And this is where I keep my everyday stuff. My water bottle, my big knife. I have my cutlery all in this little bin that I keep everything in, and it keeps it nice and organized, and it fits in there perfectly. So this is just sort of my everyday utensils, and I do keep my insulated wine glass and the butane that I'm using in there. In this one here are my dishes. I've got just some of these plastic dishes, and they have been great. I've got a set that I bought at Canadian Tire, and then I had a few others from camping. So they go in there. I keep my cutting board. I'm sorry if this is noisy. A few little pieces of Rubbermaid stuff, and some extra little jars. And then this bottom one is where I keep my tiny little kettle that I bought at Campers Village. It's meant to go on one of those little mini camp stoves that's just the cylinder with the thing that holds it. Do not know what they're called. So it's really small, but it's actually perfect because it stores away really small. I do have a little strainer, a colander that I use when I'm making pasta. Some extra bags that you just end up with that I use for garbage. And then my pots. I bought this set from Canadian Tire. It's the Woods set, and it comes with a frying pan. There's a little handle that attaches to it. Ooh, these suckers are cold. And then 2 size pots. I don't know if you can see them. It also comes with these 2 cups, which are tiny and kind of useless, and I'm going to donate those at some point. And then I had a lid from a pot. It actually fits on there perfectly. So I keep those in this little bag in there. And then I have a really good frying pan. I bought it again at Campers Village. The handle attaches on there, and which is great because you can store it without having the handle be in the way, and it's got this texture in it. Nothing sticks to this. This was a good investment because there's nothing worse than having your food stick when you're trying to camp. I do have one of these little fold-out toaster things. I tried it while I was away. Yeah, it did toast. It took forever. It made a hell of a mess. Probably never going to use that again. Yeah. And then this tiny little grater for grating vegan cheese and things like that. That's what I keep there. I do have some measuring cups and measuring spoons that I bought from the dollar store. My sharp knife. And when I'm traveling, I just make sure those are locked, and then I just put this across here, and that keeps everything secure in case the bungee that's holding it across doesn't want to hold still. On this side, I just have these little pouches that I bought at IKEA. I have a bunch of them. I have 3 or 4 of them, and in here I keep my mask, I keep my headlamp, and I usually keep my keys. After I lock my doors at night, I keep my keys in there because that way I always know where they are, and I think that that's really important when you're in a van, especially by yourself, that you always know where your keys are. This little curtain here, that's here, and the one that's over there, these are pieces from a curtain panel that I bought at Value Village, the thrift store, and that I just cut and sewed, and they're attached with Velcro. So they're easy to pull off and wash. But they keep it kind of private and tidy so that when I open my door, not everybody can see what's going on. On the other side, I have a hanging that I also attach with Velcro. So again, it keeps this area nice and private. And then I've got some hooks to hang my tea towels. That has kitties on it, of course. And the washcloth to dry. So very efficient. Now for my clothes and things like that, I wanted to have something where I could put folded clothes and my underwear and socks and things like that. I didn't want to have them in a bag, a knapsack or something when I was on trips. I figured the more I make this place feel homey, the more comfortable I'll be in it, and I was absolutely right. So I bought this unit from Canadian Tire, and it works really well. I thought that I would have to put bungees across here to keep these from sliding out, but they actually don't slide out because they're pretty stiff. So I keep my t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts and socks and underwear in this one has my jeans in here, and then the bottom one keeps my microfiber towel, which is really important when you're camping, and my pajamas, and my filming gear if I'm taking my tripod along. This works really well. And then on top here is just this little wooden box that I bought from IKEA. It's actually Velcroed on, so it'll stay still. Let me bring it closer. And in here I have my jackery. This is the, I think, 120, 150, 120, 160? Do not know. The smallest one. I do have another portable power unit, but I bought this one first. And I love it because it fits in here perfectly. I've got these little bungees to keep things from sliding out. The book whatever book I'm reading stays in there as well. I normally, if I'm parked, bring this little fake plant out and put it there. It's just, again, makes it feel homier, and I think the homier you make your space, the better. This mirror is from the dollar store. It looks like metal, but it's not. It's plastic, doesn't weigh anything. So I just have it attached with a little clamp here, and that stays there perfectly. So for lighting in here, when I am plugged in to, actually even when I'm not, I use this portable power, the Jackery, to power this light up here that I got from Amazon, and it actually lights up the whole van really well at night. I can also charge my phone from here and everything like that. But I also have these little fairy lights, or I guess they're not really fairy lights, are they? But they're these little patio lights, I guess, that I have on at night. You can't really see what they're doing, but they're kind of atmospheric. And I've got 4 of these from Canadian Tire. They're battery operated, and they're magnetic, so they stick to the roof and give me extra lighting. I have one above the kitchen here as well. So that's my lighting, sort of. I also have these little lanterns that I had from camping before, and they have little hooks on them so you can hang them from the roof, and they're battery operated as well, so I can use those if I need to. But in general, like, this pumps out a lot of light and uses very low voltage, low wattage. It's pulling 4 watts, and so that's really nothing, and the Jackery can run that for a very long time. So that's working really well. But if I am plugged in, if I'm at a campground where I have electricity, let me show you what I do. The lighting in here is not going to be good, but let me show you. If you watch my video where I install my shore plug, I got to say it has been working perfectly. I've been super happy with it. So it's right there. And what I do is I take this and I plug it into, in this bin right here, I have all my sort of electrical things. So I have my power bar. So I plug this into my power bar into that shore plug. And then I plug the charger for the Jackery into this, so it's plugged into electricity so that I can use it to charge my phone and things like that, and I'm not drawing it down. So that's in there. I also keep the heater, the space heater that I use when I'm plugged into shore power, because there's no point in using the heater for the van if I'm doing that. Hold on. There. Now you can see a little bit better. So this sits in there. And then I have the little bag from the Jackery that has the charger, wall chargers, and vehicle chargers, the cigarette lighter ports for, I think they're 12 volt, for the Jackery, and for this beast here, which is the Ninja Bat. And this sucker is, I think it's 750 watts. And I wanted something that had more power in case I was fully off grid. And I wanted something that had the 12 volt plug in here. So both of these can be charged when I'm driving. And they both have the AC plugs in there as well. And they both have flashlights, which is kind of interesting. Oops. So I wanted a secondary battery, and so this is what I've got. I used it twice while I was away, just because I didn't want to run the Jackery all the way down. And I'm glad that I have a more powerful battery system. I'm not going to leave these in the van, obviously, over in the cold weather, because lithium batteries apparently don't do well in cold weather. They need to be kept fairly, at a decent temperature. So I'll take this whole bin inside, but that's how I store it. I keep my little space heater in there. The little cords and everything for both power units, and then the power bar. That just gets tucked in here. Oh, so efficiently. And then I just magnet the insulation back up there. So that's what's under there, and I keep the footstool for getting up and on and off my bed. But I'm going to show you my furnace. I haven't actually talked about this yet, but I didn't get installed. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. Probably not. Hold on. I did get a heater installed in the van. Now, this is a, can't remember the brand of it. I'm going to do a full review on it. But I had it installed professionally because this is not something that you want to do yourself. And I managed to find one. Usually it's a Chinese heater, so it's not an S-bar or a Webasto. Those ones are super expensive. And I wanted to find one that would work with gas, because I wanted to tie it directly into the gas tank of the van. The ProMasters have a way of doing that that's fairly straightforward for somebody who knows what they're doing. And most of those Chinese heaters, and even though the other ones, the Webasto and the S-bar, most of them work on diesel, and this is a gasoline-powered vehicle. So this one is actually gas-powered and is tied directly into the fuel tank of the van, which is amazing. And so what I've got is, you want to give it a little bit of clearance. So I found this little thing, and it's actually meant as like a little lap desk sort of thing that you would use in bed at IKEA. But it works out perfectly because it gives me plenty of clearance here and at the back, and it allows me to lift this up and then have something on top of it safely. So that's where this sits. And then when I'm plugged in and I have my power bar out, I just set it here. So this works perfectly. Now the garbage can is just bungeed here to keep it from rolling around. Right now I have the vent just, I'm not sure if you can see that, just coming out. It's I zip tied it here to hold it, and then here you don't want anything right in front of that when this is working. And it does pump out quite a bit of heat. It's really nice on the days when it's cold and you're not plugged into power and you can't use the space heater. So I really wanted to get one of these put in, and I'm glad that I had professionals do it. I'm going to do a review on it. I'm going to talk to you about the company that did it. I'm going to talk to you about the brand of heater that I chose. If you're going to use your van in any kind of cold weather, especially since I don't have it fully insulated and fitted out, you're basically in a tin can, even with a little bit of insulation, and you need some sort of way to heat yourself at night especially. And even this morning when I came out here and it was so cold, I turned this sucker on and it didn't take long for things to warm up. So let me show you the thermostat. Now, if I had one complaint about this heater, it would be this thermostat. Like, why is this so tiny? Why isn't it an LED display? I don't know, but I could only find one heater that was gasoline powered that I had access to, and everything else, even everything I could find online, Amazon, they were all diesel powered, and I did not want to have a separate diesel tank stored somewhere. So this is the one. Anyways, it does run really well. It's super easy. They just wired it up, and they've left a lot of extra cable here so that when I do fully fit out the van, we can decide where we want to have this mounted. But for now, I just have it zip tied here, and it's super easy to use. You just press on, and then it's got a little symbol there for heat, and then you press OK, and it will kick in. And you can just set the thermostat to whatever you want. I'm not going to, you can sort of hear it. I don't know if you can. I'm not going to have it running because it's not loud, but I don't want that in the background. But so that'll turn off. But in the mornings, the nice thing is I can reach this from bed, and it's simple. I press this, I press that, and it warms up so I don't have to crawl out when it's cold. And now we come to one of my favorite spots, the bed. So I have the little stool under here, like I showed you before. That's how I climb up and down here. It is a little high to get up here, but I'm so glad I made it this height because it gives me so much storage underneath, and I'll show you more of that when we go around back. But I have a memory foam mattress, a 4-inch memory foam mattress that I bought from Jisk, I think it is, and it fits across with it. It's a little, it kind of curves up a little bit right at that edge, but that's not bad because that end is usually the low end when I'm parked. I don't know why, but it just seems to be, so it sort of levels things out. But what I love about this space is that I can lay this way with lots of room. I'm 5'4", but you could easily be, you know, maybe 6 feet, your feet would be touching. But for me, it works out really well. Woo! Don't fall off the bed, Adelina. I did make these window shades. They're Velcroed. I just used some black fabric on one side. Actually, they were the bottoms of these curtains because these are blackout curtains that I glued on that side, and these are just Reflectix with black duct tape. And then I put Velcro on the windows and Velcro on both sides. So if I'm just trying to keep the heat out, when it's sunny outside, I'm going to put this side facing out, and when I'm at night, when I go to bed, I put that side facing out, and then I close these curtains for nighttime. And they just store right at the foot of the bed, really super easy. These curtains I bought from IKEA. They snap on actually. I'm not sure that they were meant for curtains. I think they were meant to go on this kitchen set as storage or something like that. But they have little pouches here, which is really handy when you want to store stuff. And they're the perfect length for curtains. So that's what I bought them for, and they've worked really well because they give me a little bit of privacy in the daytime, but still let light in, because obviously you want to have light in here. But at night, I put the window shades on, and then I put these across just for a little bit of extra, I don't know, darkening, insulation, something like that. And then I have the 2 sliders, one on either side. That's worked really well. For my hanging clothes, because I do like to take a few sweaters and things like that, I just brought things out from my closet on the hangers, and then I just hang them in these little recesses in the roof of the van. That's one of the things about not having it fully fitted out, is that you still have all of those little cavities, which has been nice for hanging stuff on, I gotta say. So then in the back here, what I did was I just have a curtain rod that I've tucked into, again, some cavities back here. These are just really inexpensive blackout curtains from IKEA. And I have one here, and I have one in the front that I put across in front of, behind the seats at nighttime. And the one at the front obviously gives me total privacy, and when I park the van anywhere, I also close that, so it just looks black back here, so nobody can see what's back here. But for here, you know, the curtain at the back gives it a little bit of a nicer look. It doesn't look so utilitarian, and it also, in case there's a little breeze that coming in from those doors, it also makes sure that that sort of stays back there. And these go all the way down to the floor underneath the bed. So when I open the back doors, not everybody can see everything that's in here either, which I really like if I'm in an area where there's a lot of people. I don't want people seeing that I have my bed back here, that I'm sort of staying in here. So yeah, that is that. And then I've got the doors that I've insulated the panels on. So that's what it is. I have another one of these little pouches here. This one has clips and little bungees, because you can never have enough of those around the van. I've got to say, it has been working super well. I've loved it. My coffee's cold. It's now iced coffee. Still good though. So I was away for 2 weeks. Almost 2 weeks. I actually got back Wednesday, so I guess a week and a half-ish. And the van worked super well. I was really, really happy with everything that I'd done in here, there's nothing I would change. The one thing that I never used and ended up taking out was that sort of poof foot stool thing that I had in front of the settee to put my feet up or to put my feet on when I was sitting at the swivel seat. I found I never used it. It was taking up a lot of space. And if I want to put my feet up on something, I usually turn the swivel seat and put them on the driver's side, but I can also take the cooler and slide it over there. But otherwise, everything in here has worked really well, and I've loved it, absolutely loved it. I can't say enough for how well it worked. I'm so grateful that I found a van and was able to do this work myself, except for installing the heater. Again, I'm not going to do anything myself that might get me killed if I do it wrong. So I'm not installing something that's tying to the gas tank of the van myself. I probably could if somebody could teach me how to do it, but no, I hired a professional to do it. I paid for it, and I thought that that was money very well spent because everything else I'd done myself. I installed the roof vent myself, I installed these windows myself, and the swivel seat, the bed, everything else I did myself, so I thought that that was money well spent to have a professional do that. It's too cold to take the van for a wash just yet, and it's pretty muddy and kind of dirty from the rain that we encountered, especially on the drive home. Fuel efficiency, you know, it's a 1 ton. It's a 3500. So she's not a small girl, but she actually did pretty good, I gotta say, especially if you don't go super fast. If you keep it at about 100 kilometers an hour, you get fairly good gas mileage for a vehicle like this. And I think it actually runs better with stuff in it than it did when it was empty. I think it kind of needs that weight. So it was fantastic, and I loved it, and I'm really I'm glad to be home. I miss the tiny house. I miss Sophie, the kitty cat. For those of you who were wondering, my youngest, Jamie, was here cat sitting, and Sophie was very happy. She was happy to see me, but not mad at me, so I know she was happy while I was gone, but she was being extra cuddly, so I missed her, and I missed the tiny house. But I did not miss the craziness of coming back to Alberta and everything that's happening here. And I found that even when I was away, I preferred to be in more remote areas versus more populated areas. So I guess maybe that's a sign of the times too. Well, I just dropped my phone and totally smashed the glass. So that's what I'll be doing today, is getting that fixed. Anyways, let me show you what's happening back here. I have this curtain. I don't know if you can see that. So that's the back of that blackout curtain. And that's really nice because, again, when I open up these back doors, you can't really see what's happening back here. I have my laundry basket back here, or my laundry bag back here, which I will be doing today. And then here I keep the hose for my plug-in when I'm plugged into shore power. This bin has a wash tub, this 15 amp to 30 amp converter, extra butane, things like that. I keep in there. I always carry a toolkit when I go camping, just in case you need a little something to fix something. This bin here just has general things, extra paper towel, toilet paper, garbage bags, things like that. On this side, I keep my lawn chair, and I keep my solar panels, which I've never actually used, but they're the Go Labs solar panel that I can charge my battery banks with. Oh, I'm going to show you this. In case those of you who are wondering, how do I go to the bathroom in the van? Well, I don't, unless I absolutely run into an emergency. And then if I do, let me show you what I've got. Again, this would be absolute emergencies and it's this little folding portable toilet that I bought from Campers Village. And in here I keep a little bit of the walnut shell kitty litter, put in the bottom of the bags, some bags to go in it. And then what I have used a couple of times is this pea funnel. This one I think is called the Shiwi. I'm not sure. You can find them online. You can look it up. I'm not going to show you. And then a little bottle for those emergencies. Like when I was stuck on that Highway 93 yesterday, I really had to pee and we were at a dead stop. So I was able to go back and use that. And then some toilet paper. That is what I use for emergencies in the van. I also keep a bag of this kindling, these little pieces of wood in here, and I find that these are really handy when I need to level the van a bit. I just put a little bunch underneath whatever tire I need and roll back on them. They work really well, and also you can also use them for starting fires. And when I close this up, nobody can see what's going on in the van when I have to open this up to put anything in here. And I think this curtain was like 12 bucks, 14 bucks at IKEA, and I bought 2 of them. And I like them because they're a pretty color on one side and then black out on the other. So that is what's in the van. I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for coming along this journey with me. It's been fun. I did do some scouting. I do have some thoughts about where I might be going, and I might have changed my mind on a few things of what I was thinking. So I'm going to do that in a separate video coming up. I need to just sort of think that through, just getting it straight in my head before I share it with you guys, but I will, because that was the whole purpose of going out there. Well, that, and I really needed a holiday. So okay guys, take care. I will see you next Sunday.